everybody. Welcome to ICC's Game of the Week with your host, as always, Joel Benjamin. Nobody knows more about winning open tournaments in the U.S. than Alexander Shabalov. Over the years, he has bombed out here and there, but when he is on form, he is always prepared to push his luck as far as it will go. In the U.S. Open in Phoenix, Shabba had a turn-back-the-clock performance with 8.5 out of 9, holding off Ilya Nyzhnyk in the last round after sprinting out 8-0. In the all-in-one section U.S. Open, scores are typically high, but at some point you need to knock off strong players. That stretch was a gauntlet of GMs. Maceija, Ramirez, and Gorovets, all victims of the four-time U.S. champion. Our feature game is his defeat of Bart Macieja, a Polish native now settled in Texas. At a critical moment in the game, Shabalov made a risky decision that paid off when his opponent shied away from complications. All right, let's get to it. Shabalov playing white, and he plays d4. Throughout his career, there may be no player that has used a greater variety of openings than Shabalov, kind of like Ivanchuk at a higher scale. So he can play e4, d4, or any defense. I have found actually that when I was a more active player and running into him in games, in tournament games, after a while there was just no point in preparing anything in the opening because it was just pretty much impossible to predict what he was going to play. So here he plays into the Nimzo Indian, and he plays f3, and over the last several years this has become a very popular move, as kind of risen there from really obscurity in the 70s and 80s and maybe even into the 90s. But one reason why this move is so popular is because it's challenging, and Black has so many different answers to it that are all pretty legitimate. You kind of have to be ready for all of them, but at the same time, you're not pounding away at the same position all the time. So it's quite interesting to get into. I even tried it once myself, and successfully against Jesse Cry in a game I did for Game of the Week. But most of the time I find myself on the black side, which I rather like. Again, because there are so many interesting things to try. So anyway, Maceija goes for the probably the main line, if it's possible to say there is one, because there, as I said, so many different ways to go about it. But probably at the grandmaster level, this reply of d5 followed by trading and c5 has been perhaps the most reliable way to play for Black to try to equalize. Okay, and c5, cd5, and now here Black takes with the knight. Now it's also possible to take with the pawn, and after e3 Black has many different ideas. He can just probably a fianchetto with b6 or bishop b6 and bishop a7 to trade the bishops. We get a very classic pawn structure, like in the game from many years ago, Botvinnik, Capablanca. So Black can certainly play this way, but knight takes d5 is what Black usually goes for, trying to take advantage of the fact that White so far has basically just moved a lot of pawns. Now here Shabalov plays d takes e5, and this is the main move. It seems kind of counterintuitive to break up the pawns, but this actually works out best for White. Trying to play for the big center kind of costs too much time to be truly effective. So for instance, White could play queen d3, b6, e4, bishop a6. So Black affects a trade of bishops, so there's no more bishop pair, and the knight can retreat, and there are several